The forge has gone quiet, the bellows blow no more. The forge has gone quiet, the smiths have gone home. Only fading embers remain, and my hearth grows cold. One kiss from you to rekindle it all.
Okay, we're back for episode 17 and 18 of Queen of Embers.
Hi guys. Hello.
What's up, y'all? I'm your game master, Daniel Fox. This is the gang, they call it the playtesters, people who made Zweihander and Main Gouge, and now Queen of Embers. Amazing and awesome. Yeah. So, no announcements this week. We're just going to jump right into it. Let's just jump right into the game. So, for those who are listening or watching on YouTube, Tim Coron, who plays Sir Banneker, is out of town in Mexico, so awesome for him. And then Walter, unfortunately, got called away for sysadmin stuff, so super sad. Yeah, tax season sucks. He works for H&R Block, so that makes it tough. But it's about over, so he'll be back with regularity, which will be awesome. So let's just jump right into the game. Kay is back. Yeah!
Yeah.
Agent Elisa Marius.
Arnold.
Elisa Marius.
Alright.
From Elisa's perspective, where do you remember leaving off? Pencil anybody?
Oh, it was when Henry Black was offering us a partnership.
Yes, that's right. So, what happened following that? So essentially, the last two sessions, what we'll do.
Elisa got annoyed and she decided to retire to her own private area.
So for everybody else, what happened from there? We'll go for Harper. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell us what happened.
Let's see here. So we decided to. We went back to the cloakroom, spent the night there, and in the morning we decided to try to find this man that Mr. Black led us to.
What was his name?
Mr. Black or the man?
The man.
Let's look at the man. He was definitely not the soup-stained prophet or the soot-stained prophet.
The soup-stained
soup-stained prophet. Every
Every
time.
He's
Is
soup
Johnny
stained.
Sparrow?
It's all over.
Or Jonas Sparrow?
His name
Jonah
is Jonah.
Sparrow.
Jonah?
Yep.
So his name is Jonah.
Well.
And then so we make our way, and he's, of course, in we'll call it a bar or wine sink called Cannonball, and which is in the River District.
Basically a wine sink for ne'er-do-wells.
Right. Very near to well. So we go there. The captain or the lieutenant want to give up his sword because there's a checkpoint because of the 13, attacking the saltpetermen. And so he stays behind. We go through.
Let's clarify that point for a moment.
Okay.
So you talked about a checkpoint. Checkpoint into Founders Square. What happened?
The 13? You were there for the 13, right? Where the 13 decided to attack the saltpetermen, kill a whole bunch of people.
Oh,
Were you
yeah,
out
no,
there?
I knew
No.
about that.
There was something else to do with the checkpoint.
That wasn't a checkpoint.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
us
no,
attacking
it's-
the salt
no.
pyramid.
Right, but that's
So the following morning we come in and there's a checkpoint.
right because
Making
they're,
sure people don't bring weapons into Founders Square.
they're knocking
Yeah.
down doors. They're trying to round up any kind of members of the 13 because they still haven't been able to find their hideout. And so,
Well,
Oh, okay, so that's the police force.
so Sir Leland, I
Grenadine.
should say, is cracking down.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up later learning that Sir Leland is on pretty much, he's a constable of that area. He's on equal setting as Mr. Reich or Lieutenant Reich, or I don't know what his title was. Right. He's a tough soldier.
We did find out that if we really needed to get in there,
We could bribe our way through.
We could bribe our way through.
Yeah, don't bribe our way through. It was like 12 shilling or something like that.
That was a lot.
It was something silly.
That is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Anyway,
I'll just hide the thing, whatever.
Well,
so
So, yeah, everybody but...
Everyone but the lieutenant was able to get in, carouse. Some people did a good, honest day of work. I chat the shit with blacksmiths and anyone else who'd share a tale.
What'd you learn?
I learned that a lot of people seem to be on the side of the 13. Like, the blacksmiths that I was talking to was pretty like, they weren't wrong, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but, I didn't disagree with the man. So it was very interesting to hear that the people kind of were against the saltpeter. So that was very interesting. That's something my character learned. Now, Bannister and...
Bannister?
Bannister!
Sir Bannister!
Sir Bannister.
I was like,
So
wait,
Bannister
what?
them all.
And Alistair.
Sir Bannister, second floor.
Yes. He is a second floor tier knight.
He's the second floor chairman.
Okay.
Alistair. We actually went to the cannonball early before any of us got there. Started drinking.
That's right.
Tipping pretty heavily, and convinced the barmaid, or the proprietress, I guess, of that
What was her name?
wine sink. I do
She
not.
was a Gralstetter.
Yeah.
She was.
Heavy smoker.
I didn't write her down.
Amelia Winehouse.
Amelia.
That's
Really?
right.
She
owns
okay.
a bar.
Yeah.
Did they try to make her go to rehab?
No.
Hell no.
She didn't have to say no.
So making friends with her got them connected to the two bouncers that are in that, and then they were able to track down Mr. Sparrow, drag him back to the wine sink, and
He was a drunk.
it was a drunk. Right. It was straight up just DR.
Very likable drunk, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very likely.
And he wouldn't tell you guys what to do without...
I mean, we gotta get a little quiet, but
No, the drinking.
oh yeah, we go back. Right,
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a pretty good night of drinking. Pretty sure some people got pretty smashed.
Yeah, and then eventually we said to Jonah, tell me what to do now your tankard's dry.
Anyway.
And he said that some weird shit happened at the Balian Abbey on the night of Penumbra.
Mm-hmm.
That a group of men that he didn't ask too many questions about handed them a sack of coins to ferry them to that Balian Abbey. And it's this island where the saint, I can't remember her name, Saint anyone? Saint lady? Messiah. Okay. That she went there and blessed the waters from a spring.
Okay.
That then blessed the rivers in Ravania.
And then didn't some people come there later and kill each other or something?
Well, so there was a breakout of Red Death in the area, which is a highly contagious, pretty much you're dead kind of disease. And so
It's not a gentle passing either.
no, it's like pustules. It's bad. And so the aristocracy hid themselves or cloistered themselves off in this abbey. But apparently paranoia got to them. So when the soldiers and the people returned, saying that there was an all clear, that most, if not all of them, were dead. I don't know if there were actually any survivors. I don't think that ever came out if there were any. But it was basically a mass murder. So they burnt it down to the ground and left it to be a place no one goes to because of such a terrible event occurring there. But for some reason, these 5-6 figures wanted to go there. And so, with coin in hand, Mr. Sparrow did it. Some weird lights, some weird sounds.
Weird feelings, even.
Weird feelings happened on the island. And he was just about to head out and bolt, because, they paid him extra to stay. But, and then one man, an older man with a white mustache, I believe, or white beard, came out. Holding a bloody arm, and was the only one to escape the island with him. Dropped him off, hasn't heard from him since.
Okay.
So then we.
Doesn't necessarily want to hear from him.
So then after all this, and he's like, "Hey, I will never go back there again." And we're like, "By the way, will you go back?"
And somebody rolled a critical success on
someone
that
should roll
check.
critical success.
With the 16% chance of success.
I rolled an 11.
Yeah, so
Those are
because
for
we're
one
like,
success.
because I think Banneker was gonna help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or should I say Bannister?
I was like, "Don't even bother."
It's like, actually, I want to try to assist 11. Oh, well, never mind then.
Yeah. So the pilot said, "Hey, man, we go all the way."
Yeah. And so we set it up to meet the next night in the Slum Row near
Just try.
Lovelock Bridge, where we had originally met the slaver boat.
So we can skirt around
The blockade.
the blockade of bringing weapons into the square.
Right.
Yeah. But if we had to, of course, we were willing to pay.
So, that brings us to tonight.
So we're going to the Baleen Abbey, right?
There's a little bit of wind and an impending storm. It's a cold autumn night. There's a bit of light rain, wind kind of tugging at your clothes as you're waiting outside at Lovelock Bridge, back in Slum Row. These small locks kind of rattle and clink against the side of the bridge as you're kind of awaiting upon the arch. You were here almost 6 nights ago when Penumbra happened. Over a week ago, my apologies.
Yeah.
Upon Penumbra. And you're waiting for this Jonah Sparrow and his ferry. It's clear that a storm is rolling in. It is that time, after all, in the Rovane Girdle, the field that rains in Rovania. Or specifically, the song comes from Saint Messiah, "Bless the rains in Rovania."
Oh, that's what she did? Okay,
She did.
must
She
have
rained. She blessed the rains in Rovania. Yeah. Saint Messiah. That's right.
Oh, we didn't mention we visited Hexenstern as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What happened at the end there?
Oh, you went and saw my friend?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, we met him at the inn before
The cloakroom.
the cloakroom, saying or asking basically if he had any insights on maybe what went down, who these people could be, if he had any assistance or guidance or advice or anything like that. Because if we're going in there and they were doing some hoodoo voodoo that we don't know what to do, then we were basically asking the only wizard sorcerer that we knew.
And he
Yeah.
said, "Pray."
Yeah,
No,
right.
he wasn't a wizard. No.
I'm sorry, he's not a wizard, he's a warlock.
Yes.
Right? There's a difference.
Yeah.
Wizards have wands.
What did
Yeah.
he say to do?
Yeah, he gave the best advice that you could give. Pray.
Pray.
Yeah. So.
Yes. So with all this being said, you await Jonah Sparrow and his skiff to arrive. You cannot see the stars beyond the low-hanging clouds over Durindal, but you, Warren, can feel the presence of the Leviathan's eye shining somewhere beyond. Perhaps every once in a while, the clouds will pass and grow thin. You can see the burning blue star of the constellation far out there, but you can feel its presence. Between the three of you, and of course Banneker, who is there, and Alistair as well, there is a sense of impatience. It's just after nightfall. Did you agree to nightfall or witching hour? I think you agreed in the very.
I thought it was nightfall.
Oh, that was nightfall.
I think so.
Is this the same day you guys were getting drunk, or is this the next?
This is the next day?
Yeah. Like I went and rode Matthew out in the countryside, which actually was really nice. There was no pollution or reek out there. Actually really helped me cover pretty well.
The bridge is otherwise, there's nobody around. The surrounding slums disappear into the darkness. A few twinkling of perhaps lanterns or candles out there, but the rest of the city is quiet.
No lamps are lit.
No. The water ripples with the wind, dark and opaque. And then you can see kind of down the Bastards River near that tall stilted building that's hanging over the river that you almost crashed into. You can see this glowering lantern casting this pale white and yellow light across the rippling water. And you can see that a broad-bellied and low skiff approaching as clearly it's Joe Sparrow.
He's coming. I head up to where I can kind of help him grab onto the dock or wherever he's going.
Certainly.
Yeah.
He comes along kind of a wooden jetty that's kind of lapping up and down with the movement of the water. It's not very well fastened into the muddy shore, the sandy, silty shore. You get a good look at him, Elisa. This man looks like he smells. Looks like he was peeled off the floor of a wine sink about 3 days ago. He looks like warmed over shit. He has a long, scraggly-looking beard. His eyeshadows ran all down his face. He's got these cuts and bruises all over him, like he's been in a scuffle at some point. His hands are cracked and bloody from dry skin. His fingernails are yellow and jaundiced. His eyes are bloodshot. His breath smells bad. But he has a mouth full of fine, perfectly pearly white teeth.
Are they his?
Perhaps.
Maybe not all of them, but they're his now.
I didn't expect you all to be here, he says, kind of clearly and a little bit inebriated. He seems to be kind of standing up on his own 2 feet, but you can see you can't tell if he's kind of moving with the dock or if it's just him kind of weaving back and forth. Pull me up, he says.
Try to hand, pull him up.
This must be the other one. Hey, he said. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, Elisa, me Jonah, Lisa, Elisa.
I would tip my hat if I had one on. All right. This is, look, listen to me, look. He gets real close to Warren. You all had second thoughts about this. We don't have to go. You just turn around and pretend the conversation never happened, and maybe we'll drink again sometime. We don't have to go back. You sure you wanted to do this?
Yeah, we is.
This is the point where the save game comes out.
If
Oh, God.
only.
Why is there healing stuff everywhere? Why did the music change?
Oh, God.
Dun, dun.
Yep. I mean, we'll go drinking afterwards, I'm sure.
All right, you're on board with this, m'lady?
Yes.
All right, climb on board. And one of you grab the rudder. I'm gonna send us the right way downriver.
I sit at the rudder.
Or upriver. All right, so turn it around. We need to go this way. You get on the boat, and it's a leaky bottom boat. It's a little bit waterlogged. There's quite a bit of water in the bottom of it. They're kind of leather gaiters that he would wear, perhaps, to like slosh around on the side of the stream, or side of the Bastards River. It's got mud and dirt kind of caked on it, along with some like reeds that have kind of gathered in the floor. A few fishing poles, some other kind of sundries, but this whole thing looks beaten. The paint is kind of flecked away, and there are well-worn sitting boards. All right, here we go, he says. And with that, he begins to paddle forth down the Bastards River.
And a cannon goes off suddenly.
You pass through down the Bastards River beyond Durendal. The storm lets up, fortunately, and you can see that the river disappears beyond the reach of Durendal. The water laps gently at the bottom of the boat, not threatening to tip, but you can feel it beneath your feet. You're moving beyond the light of Durendal, what little there is out on this night. The clouds begin to part. The vault of night opens up slightly as the clouds grow thin. Burning overhead is the Leviathan's eye, pale and blue. You're coming toward where the river broadens almost to like a great, kind of almost like open morass. The water grows shallow. There are tall reeds kind of reaching from the water upward toward the sky. Trees without leaves. You're actually heading almost away from the river itself, kind of almost toward like a little lowland swampy area. You hear frogs plop in the water, splashing here and there. A film kind of lingers along the top of the water. The wind still pulls at your clothes, at your hair. But you can see in the darkness this shape, a shadow of an island, and upon it, a thick forest. The trees of the forest are bereft of leaves, but it almost looks like the crown of some fairy queen in the darkness. Gray and old and ancient. The skiff comes to the edge of the water, and he hops out, kind of pulling the skiff with the rope. Actually, he and Warren probably hop out and pull the skiff to the island. Coming up on shore, it's wet, it's a morass. The weeds below the water pull at your boots as you kind of slosh through it, and you come up on the ground. And it is uneven and wet and nasty. This is it right here. This is the island, he says.
All right.
He's holding the lantern. You see his hand, the lantern's trembling in his hand.
I want to thank you for doing this again.
He slowly nods, not really agreeing or disagreeing. He just wordlessly kind of is looking toward the island, and he's kind of looking over his shoulder and back toward the water, and looks back toward the shape in the shadow where you can see a light haze of light coming from Durendal in the distance, just downriver about a mile.
And we still smell the reek even this far from Durendal?
Yes. In fact, the smell is almost overwhelming here. It is bad. It is real bad. Without a doubt, the reek source is on this island somewhere. Your eyes sting. The smell is... well, it's kind of hard to describe. It smells a little bit like a spent match. It smells a little bit like rotten eggs. It smells like something that's been dying in the woods for weeks. It smells of stone and of metal and of earth and of something else you can't put your fingers on. You almost kind of look toward the sky, looking toward the lights he spoke of that happened on Penumbra. The lights above the island, but there aren't just the dry rattling of the branches against one another, clacking and clattering as the wind blows them, like skeletal fingers grasping toward one another, entangled as such.
Hopefully we can put an end to this reek by the time we get off this island.
I guess you have an hour, he says. Once that time's up, I'm heading back.
If it comes to longer than that, think you could come by tomorrow morning? Just in case.
If it's more than an hour, you're probably already dead.
How long were those people gone for? The previous ones.
I'll be back in an hour, he says.
Alright,
Grabs
better
the
get to it then.
Grabs the scarf out of her bag and ties it around her nose. Well, let's go.
Who's carrying the light?
Reckon I can. Got my lantern.
I'm assuming you brought your gear and left Matthew behind.
Right, yeah. We talked about that before.
That's right. That's right.
About, yeah, horse on a boat. Not
It's
a great
swam
idea.
here. It's all good. Horses swim.
Can I whistle to summon my horse? Like in
You're out of range, unfortunately, like in Red Dead.
Here it comes over the
right.
It works in Red Dead. I don't know where he came from, but he's right behind me.
Right.
Though.
What about if I had a magical flute and I played
Works in
it? Then would my horse
Ocarina,
know?
yeah.
There is a breeze that passes over the island that breaks up the smell of the reek at times, almost a fresh breath of air.
Okay.
But then the smell returns, clinging to everything, into your clothes, into your scarf, into your hair, into the ground, into your loincloth, your small clothes rather. You disembark from the ship. You come up on shore. What kind of light do you have?
Oh, I have a lantern with oil.
Okay. You light the lantern. The light seems to fight at first inside the pane and inside the lantern until you close the pane, and the light kind of softly begins to ebb and glow, casting this, not warmth as in heat, but this sense of comfort around you, extending out, but still the darkness seems to claw at the light, pulling it away in wisps almost. There's a fog, you realize, over this island that you're now seeing in the light, but the fog is this strange yellowish pallor, and it lingers very close to the ground.
Alright, so
Does someone have a match?
I mean,
I just go with lantern.
Well, it might not be the worst idea to throw a match in front of us in case this is flammable before we step into it with a lantern fully.
well, I reckon if there's that much of it, it'd be a really bad idea.
Might be better to be on the outside of it. That's all I thought.
I don't think we want to be anywhere near it if that were the case, but I mean, you're smarter than I am.
Oh, I ain't got any matches.
I don't either.
Well,
Just
Warren,
watch the flame and hope it doesn't jump.
Warren, make a survival test. This test is going to be routine for you.
Okay. That will be a 59% chance to succeed. Actually, no, 69. But I did not succeed.
You're not really sure where the fog emanates from, but it seems to roll across the ground.
Hey, listen here. Just be on your guard. There may be a reason why only one of them came back. They may have turned on each other, or there may be someone who's taken up residence here, squatting.
Could have been lost in the mist.
Yeah, they could have been lost too.
Could have been claimed by gods knows what.
Right. Well, something happened to his arm.
Yes, gods.
Terwin readies his shield, but does not ready a weapon. Just be
I'll do
on
the
your
same
guard.
thing. Shield in this arm, lantern in this arm.
The island is eerily quiet, save for this haunting, ethereal singing of birds.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the
The
birds.
sound of larks, perhaps? The sound of songbirds? You're not really sure, but it seems to kind of come from the trees, come from the distance you can't see, come from behind you. You've lost sight of his light, and you're not really sure where to go. Who's going to lead the way?
I mean, I can if no one else can.
I'm best in streets, not on islands.
I got the light. All right.
Go ahead and lead the way.
All right, roll an awareness test. This test is standard.
Standard awareness.
Thank you, Harper.
43. It's a 77 critical failure.
As you begin wandering along the island, you actually come across what appears to be a footstone that would demarcate something. Something was here. It's a small, almost like a small plinth of a stone, wider than it is tall. But whatever stood up on it at one point is, well, it's gone.
Well, I might stand on it and see if I can take a look around.
You step up on the plinth and he trips over his own 2 feet as the lantern crashes toward the ground, spilling all the oil out. And with that, the light is snuffed out on your critical failure.
Apologies. Sorry.
What?
Let me collect myself.
What?
Maybe a little bit nervous here, but we got another pint of oil. Yeah.
So expend that next pint then
Yep.
too. All right.
Down to 1.
Fortunately, the glass didn't break. It doesn't take him long to light the next paper towels. It doesn't take him too much longer to light the lantern, but as he comes to his feet, you follow the stone plinth, and you can see what appears to be these broad stones, this pathway that would lead you along the island. And the trees are kind of like the kind of twigs are kind of pulling at your clothes, and you're a little bit too close for comfort. The island has been allowed to grow wild with undergrowth. The sounds of those birds still can be heard somewhere out there. And there's a strange sound come from almost like below the earth. And you're not really sure what it was, but you kind of pause for a moment. collecting yourself. And as you do so, you can see what appears to be this old, burned out wall of perhaps an old church or temple that once was here. A large stone kind of moves slightly as it's fallen off the top of the nearby wall.
Is there any kind of religious symbols or anything that I can spot?
Well, no symbols per se, but the shape of the windows would denote that this is probably the exterior wall of some sort of church that was once here.
We was at a church or something that in the spring supposed to be in a cave.
Right.
Like I would suspect that we may want to.
Spring?
Yeah, the spring that Saint Messiah blessed and all that. You
Well,
think?
it would make sense to build some kind of structure around it if it's a holy place, wouldn't it?
Right.
Okay.
Some do pilgrimages.
Okay.
My dad did a pilgrimage, just not here.
Right. And a lot of times they tend to put some kind of structure to protect said place.
Well, then we must be close to the right area.
I would assume.
If we keep pressing on and keep your eyes out, I'll keep my eyes on the ground so that way I don't trip over anything and spill any more oil. But y'all
Would you
keep your
like
eyes
me
out.
to carry? I'm not really that handy with a weapon if you catch my drift.
I mean, you probably
yeah,
got keener
I would.
eyes than that.
I would.
You want her?
I want her to carry it. Yeah.
Alright, well, here you go.
Feeling a,
Take the lantern.
some sort of a presence. Feel that?
Presence?
You know it.
I don't feel it, but I heard something,
Yeah.
and that's enough.
It's a
No,
bad
my hands are free.
You know
I'm
what
gonna load my
accent
crossbow.
said?
I'm gonna put my shield on my back and load my crossbow.
Okay.
You know what accent said?
And I have my
We gotta
walking
pray.
cane.
Ah, you know what? I think you're right. We do have to pray. We didn't do that.
Before we go any further, I think we should.
Well, you think he was speaking literally?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when those
I
of us
wasn't that.
prayed on the night of Penumbra, I felt an effect.
Alright.
You've had school, and you probably know the Liebman the best out of all of us.
Yes.
Is there any kind of altar in there, or do we just want to do it out here?
Well,
Well, one would assume that the holiest place is where you would do your prayer. And outside of a church shouldn't be as sanctified as in.
I don't know about you, but the only eye I see looking upon me now is that one up there. He points to the Leviathan's eye. Poison Cradle's looking at me, and I'm hoping she's winking a bit more. Back home, we didn't so much pray to her as defer, you know.
Leviathan? Well, I suppose if we want to have a nice trip home on the water, sure. That's when I would pray to Leviathan, as if I was getting on a boat.
All this around us, got an evil eye on us. That's what we need to be praying towards.
Well, I'll pray to the covenant.
Pray.
Pray to your gods.
Hey, I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
All right. We'll cover the spread then. You with yours and ours with ours.
Fair enough.
Seems like a good call to me.
Right.
Well, let's step in and see what's in here, and then we'll have a talk with the gods.
Clearly there is some sort of structure here, but it has long since collapsed or burned down. The ceiling is gone. Only the faintest traces of the wall remain, lest it had already collapsed outward. But you're kind of walking across this stony floor, it's flagstone floor, where reeds and even sapling trees have begun to grow. And you could feel your boots and your shoes kind of fall upon stone as you're inside of a temple that's barely still there. You're walking what appears, I think it's called a nave, like the entryway, until it comes into the large chamber where in your mind's eye you'd expect there to be pews and an altar and massive symbols and candelabras and all kinds of manner of things. But all you can see around you are the ruins of the walls. The banister or the pews have been mostly burnt up. There's nothing here of value or a semblance of any sort of strength or value, because it had been burnt by the soldiers returning from the border war back in 170. They had come to find those who had come here after the Red Death. That's almost 43 years ago now, when your people invaded the southern kingdom of Cockborn. But nonetheless, you are certainly in the prayer area of sort, and you can see that there are deeper chambers that kind of extend outward, but there are no ceilings here to be seen. Everything's been burnt to the ground. Just most of the walls still stand. One kind of shows, you can see like kind of the church-like windows, you can imagine, right? Like in some places, the glass has been burned, it's melted, obviously.
There's soup everywhere.
What's that?
So much soup.
Soot everywhere. The soot stain, French, not the soup stain. No soup for you, Prince.
You have your words, I have mine.
Who will pray in this place?
Warren will twist some twigs and branches into a little fetish and make an offering.
What of yourself, Elisa?
Yeah, she'll say the words.
That's enough. All of you need to roll a 1d6 chaos die.
Love that.
My prayer goes out to the steward.
2. The Stuart, you got a 6.
I got a 6.
You got a 6.
I got it too. Damn it, I wanted 6.
I know, right?
I kind of did too.
No matter what it was.
I got a 6.
I always want to say
Chaos is always the best. I got a 6.
You set to your prayers and you make your plans, and you hope that you can trust the person next to you to keep you safe. You proceed throughout the remnants of this temple, but you find no sign nor sight of any sort of spring, blessed or not. Just the morass. It's clearly not here.
Well,
Let's keep looking.
is there any way to get any sort of vantage point? Like, I know it's all burnt down. Can we step on and climb up any of the rubble?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna kind of look around and see if there seems to be a more healthy vegetation area, because the spring would tend to lend itself to that, I'd assume.
It would. You need to spend more time on the island to do so. Nothing near here, at least.
Nothing.
Not within immediate sight.
You know, I'll put down my crossbow, don't load it, safely. And then start climbing up.
Okay. You find a nearby wall and a pile of rubble to kind of get a better vantage point. You've got the lantern, I'm assuming, in hand too, so you can see.
I'll let her hold on to it while I climb. And then have
Okay,
her get
go
back.
ahead and make a challenging test.
Okay. Challenging. Athletics. 42. That is a 32. Success.
He manages to find a barely surviving second floor supported still by stone. It's collapsed on itself, and it's uneven ground, but you kind of get up here and they hand you the lantern. You kind of look over the island. And you can see that Elisa's kind of look for healthy vegetation, she's saying. And you can see that within the lantern light, not far from here, is this, well, for lack of a better term, a sinkhole. Like a massive, dark, pitch black hole not far from here. It must be 15 yards wide. And you can see that yellow stuff, the fog, is slowly seeping out of it. And the color is very evident here.
I'll point in that direction. And go. I think that's the place we're supposed to go, because that's where the yellow stuff's coming out of.
Can we see it from once he's pointed it out, or is it?
Yeah, once you kind of make your way out of the temple, you can see kind of that hole. It's like a large, literally, it's a overgrown hole, and you can see a flight of stairs actually descend down into the hole, carved of stone.
Oh wow!
It descends into the earth.
For an aquifer, it would make sense for a spring to possibly have collapsed a part of the land.
You're
Makes
more
sense.
educated than I, so I believe you.
So you wish
All
to
I know is I don't think that's right.
Well, yes. Correct. But it has stairs built into it, which means there's some kind of significance that's already been assigned here. I would say we go down.
I agree.
Let's see what it is.
Wordlessly,
Yeah, hand the lantern.
wordlessly, Terran will take the front.
Stay in the middle with the lantern.
Take the rear gear.
You begin to descend this flight of broken, overgrown stairs that descends 15 yards down to get to the bottom of this pool. Branches and roots form a canopy overhead, almost making this feel like a cavern. You begin to descend down. Let's find... You begin descending down. You can hear the sounds of creatures and such that live down here. In fact, it seems that there is quite a few things that are kind of living down here, despite the fact this terrible smell. You can hear that keening sound of those birds once again. Somewhere. You're coming down further, and deeper, and deeper, and deeper, until the sounds of the island disappear.
Well,
It's almost dead silent as you come to the bottom. It's so incredibly pitch black, you need a light to penetrate the darkness. There is a sense of nervousness among all of you. You must all succeed a routine resolve test or else suffer from stress.
Roll 56. 36, I'll take it.
59. 56.
46.
13, 60.
46. 56.
I think I'll remove that one. I have a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I have a pretty good chance, and I failed it too.
Just remember, you might need them later. I'm just saying. They're there.
And also,
Yeah,
Daniel has fun currency to play with now.
Well, you guys
Also-
took two, right?
Did you give him 2?
Yeah, I give him 2.
Okay, just making sure. I thought you said one
And I
currency
did make
to
it
play
that
with.
time.
I didn't.
Who failed?
Bad
Raise your hand.
Rolo.
Everybody else succeeded, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Good. Those who failed will gain 3 corruption and suffer 7 mental peril.
Oh, wait. 44 is a crit success.
Yes, it is.
You feel good about being down here.
I like this.
Perhaps it's your willingness to disbelieve that any of the supernatural things could possibly be real.
Warren clutches his chest. Oh,
No problem.
This is tough.
This is a whole...
You want a lamp yourself?
Just
Lisa, go ahead and add plus
Give me-
1 to your peril threshold while you're down here.
just give me a minute. How much peril did you say I got?
7.
I got a bad ticker.
What? Alright.
Ugh. That's one additional step.
You didn't go down at all.
I didn't go down, but I got more corruption.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Bad ticker.
Okay.
Well,
It's a hole.
You're alright.
I'm gonna be okay.
Would you like to be the one to carry the lantern? Would it make you feel better?
where you got a torch?
I'll be fine.
He said he's fine.
I'm
All
alright.
right.
I believe it.
As you come to the bottom of this pit,
Just saying.
the darkness penetrates this place. Like I said, it looks like a cavern. There are roots coming out from all around the interior of this place, above and from the side. And there is this, what appears to be a stone wall that runs the circumference of this, almost in a perfect circle, about 15 yards across. And you can see that the walls of this place are covered in sigils of sort and drawn in white powder and soot. And unusual kind of mathematical equations are written all over them with red paint. You can also see that the smell is clearly coming from here, but you don't see its source. The air is a little hazy, and the smell of spent gunpowder is very, very evident down here. Like the smell that you kind of the smell of the reek all seems to kind of come into great focus down here. It's the smell of spent gunpowder, the smell of sulfur, and the smell of something else. Furthermore, you can see that a large circle, about 10 yards in diameter, has been burned on the stone ground with gunpowder. There is no pool of water down here whatsoever. Furthermore, there are 6 smaller triangles evenly spaced around the larger circle. And that's when you recognize what happened, or what may have happened to the other people who were here.
How many people were there?
I thought there was 5 or 6.
You count out 5 partially burned and blackened cloaks in each of the triangles.
Just close.
You want to root around in it?
With a stick. I'm not touching it.
You grab the stick and you realize that there's no corpses to be seen. Just the brownish cloaks have been,
I thought you said brown or black.
they're blue cloaks.
Oh, blue.
Oh.
These blue cloaks have been burned, charred.
Do they have any sort of symbols on them, or any like
Well,
embroidery?
as she's kind of filtering around in the remnants, one has a recognizable cloak pin attached to it.
Brigandine? No.
Yeah, pick it up.
Put my gloves on and then pick it up, yeah.
Sure.
Because there could be chemicals. I don't believe in
It's
all.
been burnt, but
Yes.
it is a symbol that would be best described as a water wheel of sort, a mechanical water wheel, perhaps. And make a standard awareness test as well, Lisa. But you're leaning down to pick up the pen.
42. 56 will not do it.
Want to reroll that?
I've already used one. I had enough chocolate for now.
Fair enough.
You said standard, right? Yes.
Yes.
42.
I'll look at Warren and ask, just out of curiosity, do you have any torches on you? Just in case for some reason the lamp gets dropped. We don't just have one source of light down here in this big pitch black dark hole.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Alright.
Is
Just
there any
saying,
sconces
as
or
long as you're
torches
where you
down
got 'em.
here?
No.
in case we gotta light them.
What are the sigils?
Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep an eye out. Really.
There are hundreds of them. I mean, it looks like they have been written. I mean, if you imagine a pit of 15 yards, you can only imagine what you would see on the walls. There are hundreds of them that are written in white powder and black soot. They're very strange.
Do they look new? Or, because, I mean, imagine if this was a blessed place, they might have engraved some stuff.
They're not engraved, no.
Some paints.
They've been
Right.
painted on the stone
That'd
walls.
be temporary.
You can see roots breaking through the mortar, and they've kind of scraped those away and drawn these symbols all around the circumference of this place.
Can I try to read it or the mathematical equation?
Yeah, I mean, the best read you have on it is that there are certainly hexagrammatic equations, perhaps some significance, but nothing you could understand on your own. Would you like to record them in your journal?
I would.
The most common ones. Go ahead and make a scrutinize test. This test will be challenging.
Okay, so I have 52, so 42. 45 will not do it. Alright,
You're
I'm gonna
narrowing your eyes, and it's not the fact
I'm
that
gonna try again.
it's not the fact that the light is poor. It's just that the symbols are so strange and foreign to what you would read as any sort of language that would be understood. Seems very strange.
14 will do it.
Okay. You will record some of the ones that you can capture, at least in your book. You would need hours down here to capture everything, but you manage at least with a successful scrutinize, you at least suss out what you feel is most important to record.
Okay.
As she's doing that, Harper, you can see like this kind of burnt circle on the ground that nobody stepped into, obviously, at this point. And there are these there's those 6 triangles kind of burnt with apologies, with gunpowder as well, with the 5 burnt blue cloaks. Only one pin that she found, she's kind of got between her teeth that she's kind of penciling these things down on her notebook as you're holding the lantern close. And as your light kind of flashes across the circle, you can see the flash of what looks like a key, just kind of scattered somewhere in the midst of the circle.
Huh, that's weird.
What's that?
There's a key over there. I think.
What?
We'll take the light for a little bit.
You were
Sorry.
drawing, so keep this in mind. They're require some attention while you're doing that.
Right.
Wait. You mean in there?
Not in the circle, right? Or is it?
It's somewhere in the circle, somewhere out there.
I reckon it's in the circle. Yeah.
I don't know about that circle.
I don't like it either. I'm just telling you what you saw.
What do you think of that circle?
Warren walks in and grabs it, the key.
Wow, that's mighty bold of you, sir.
I don't believe in this superstitious nonsense.
You must pray to the Night Father or something. That kind of luck he's going with.
Suddenly, there's this ringing in your ears, Warren. The sound of the bells, the pealing of the bells in Durindal. And you're immediately racked with absolute abject terror. Staring from beyond the stars, you behold a pale blue marble, that of Mahalma. As your eyes focus even closer through the mist, through time and space, you behold Durindal, beyond a cruel blue pane of glass separating you from the world you cannot return to. You have been cast into the Leviathan's eye. Everyone who's standing around must immediately succeed a challenging coordination test. Sorry, hard, my apologies.
Hard. 30.
17.
Hard 18.
The key is to roll with the Untitled Chapter.
I have a 25 for it. That ain't gonna do it.
Harper, you're standing there, and suddenly there is this sound. Thump. Sounds like something dropped, and the air just boom, pushes everybody backward, away from the circle. You slam against the wall and fall to the ground, holding on to your torch and the lantern, and you come to your feet, and as you look around, Elisa, and Terran have been thrown to the ground right against the wall and suffer 11 damage. As you both fall to the ground, your book is ripped from your hands and torn to pieces as this thing pushes you all away from the circle.
Oh.
In the center of it, as you behold Durindal through the Leviathan's eye, you must make an arduous resolve test.
Okay.
Alright.
I think you've gone into the eye of the storm.
Elisa?
Oh no, I am
19.
moderately wounded.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a 10, yeah.
That's failure.
Failure? Okay.
We're all failing on them.
You immediately gain 1 chaos range. Can I have a D10, please?
Sure. Have an ugly.
You said you're moderately wounded?
Yes.
Roll 2d6. Sorry, my apologies. 3d6.
3d6?
If any lands on a phase 6, you are unable to walk.
That's rough.
It's falling damage.
I can't walk.
Ugh! She's thrown off her feet, and her leg is twisted. In the center of the circle, there is light. A burning, bright light. You suffer 17 damage from fire, Warren, and any armor you have must be ignored.
Okay.
Suddenly, he is caught on fire as you kind of come to. You suffer 1 permanent chaos ring.
Alright, so I am moderately wounded.
Roll 1d6.
4.
Okay. Fortunately, you're not on fire.
Yeah.
Warren, what's your current damage condition track?
Moderately wounded.
Okay. Warren throws himself to the ground, trying to stamp out the fire.
If I'm able, I'm gonna try to help him, but I don't know.
You've been knocked off your
Okay,
feet, and the
yeah.
wind has been knocked out of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
You're
try to move
trying
over to him.
Yeah. You come to him
But
and try
I'm
to...
not going to enter the circle.
You're not going to enter the circle?
Well, no, I don't want the same thing to happen to me.
Oh, he's in the middle of the circle.
Warren.
He throws himself to the ground. His body is smoldering. He peels off his clothing, batting it against the ground
Get out of the circle,
as best
moron.
he can.
Or at least grab that key if you're in there.
The key is in your hand, but it's almost white hot as you drop it to the ground.
Ah, kick it out.
What do you want to do, Warren?
Am I still, like, other than the, like, obviously I'm on fucking fire.
You're not on fire. You just
I
burned.
was.
Okay.
You managed to stamp it out. You managed to stop, drop, and
Like
roll
now
in
that
time.
now that I'm like collecting myself after like that, like what else is happening? Am I still feeling some sort of ringing in my ears or presence or what's going on?
There is this sound, the ethereal sound of birds. Some sound of birds overhead. Your eyes turn toward the sky, and you look toward the vault of night, and you can see these dark shapes consisting of oily feathers and blackness kind of nestle upon these over these branches overhead, and you can see the branches give beneath the stress of their great bodies. They kind of crouch down, 3 of them, looking overhead.
Are they looking at me?
They are perched over the top, great predators, as if they're about to descend into the cavern.
I pause for a moment, look up at the birds, and whisper, "What's my name?"
And with that, I need to put an initiative up there.
Yeah.
I have a 7 plus 8, so 15. Overhead, one of these things begins to wheel through the air. Its great feathers kind of opening up, and you can see it begin to descend down. Its wings are kind of doing this bit as it's coming down, like with its great feathers, almost the length of fingers, as it's descending down toward you. Warren, your initiative you go first.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up the key and throw it at the bird.
You gonna throw what?
I'm gonna pick up the key and throw it at the bird.
Okay. The
If
key
it's
is
still hot.
The key is hot. You want to pick it up? You have gloves?
No.
Okay. You pick it up for 1 AP, and you suffer 3 damage from fire. Ah! You withdraw your hand, and you throw it in the air, and it effortlessly kind of comes back down to the ground, rattling in the middle of the circle.
So it didn't hit the bird.
No, it's 2 AP.
Okay. I will bank my last AP.
Okay. The bird with its great black, oily feathers descends down with crooked noses, and it stands twice your height. Its great wings extend out, and suddenly these ragged claws reach out toward you. This is the first one. 65%. 78, but I'll take a misfortune point reroll. 91. Shred! The thing's claws kind of come out, You quickly duck back from one of them. The other one drops down toward Terwin and tries to grapple him with both of its talons. You're on the ground, buddy. 75% chance. 76. Terwin, somehow you managed to collect yourself and roll out of the way. The other one drops down beside Elisa. And its claws will drop down for a 75% chance. 06. You feel this pinch, and then these claws bury deep into your belly, as you will suffer a total of 8 plus 18 damage.
I'm gonna have to use a fortune point.
Oh, are you slain?
Uh-huh.
Our fate point.
Or fate 2 points, sorry. Yeah, because 16 is my third threshold, and I'm at moderately, so that would be slain.
That's right. All right.
You spend
You spend your fate point and somehow escape death. Elisa, you're on the ground. You're caught unawares. You are knocked to the ground. This thing of black oily wings and shadow descends down, and you can see this emaciated face of what appears to be a man or a woman or something like that, with these great tail feathers kind of extending off its hindquarters, nude save for the fact its great bristling fur looks more like porcupine spines than anything else. But this strange creature is standing no more further than you to eye, and you're on the ground.
Would I have the ability to try to just quick reference in my head and figure out what this might be?
You may make an arduous folklore test.
Let's try it. Arduous, huh? 30. Whew, that puts me at 15. No, 48 won't do it.
You
So I don't
quickly
know.
rack your mind for 1 AP, but nothing that you can recall. This does not look anything like you've ever seen.
Alright, then I am going to instead attempt a litany of hatred and scream in its face.
Okay. So what is your current damage condition track?
Currently, so we rewind, right? I don't take any of the damage.
That's right.
From fate point, so I'm at moderately.
Okay, your test is standard intimidate test.
Standard intimidate. 44. A 35 will do it.
Okay.
So at least
So they all suffer -1 to damage and peril for condition tracks, essentially.
my fellowship bonus is 5, so yes, all three of them.
Yeah.
Wait,
The thing will
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
recoil. Speaking some guttural language you cannot suss out, as it takes a few steps back, giving you just a moment if you wish to come up to your feet for 1 AP.
I would, and use my walking cane to do so.
Your walking cane is not in your hand. You're knocked off your feet.
So is it,
Everything's
where
been
is
knocked
it?
out of your hands. You
Outside of easy
frantically
reach.
skirt and it's
Alright.
like, it's just outside of easy reach!
Always.
That's right.
Well, then I'm gonna at least try to get to my feet.
Okay. You come up to your feet, Elisa. That is good. Harper?
Try.
Being on my feet, let's see here. I have a lantern in hand, so I wouldn't necessarily have my crossbow ready to aim or to die. I'm actually going to put the lantern on the ground and then arm myself with shield and fire hardened spear. Then.
Okay. So to shield and fire on the spear is 2 AP.
Right.
To get armed up.
Right, and then I'm going to.
You're about 6 yards away from your friends.
Right, so I'm going to hustle on over to probably Elise.
That's probably a good idea.
So she seemed to have been really wrecked by one attack, and I'm surprised she's alive.
Yeah. You interpose yourself between her and this thing?
Sure.
Don't know how.
Okay. Ha-ha! You put
Alright, you
yourself-
get the hell away from her.
Alright, Terwin, it's your turn.
I will get up for 2 AP.
Okay.
I-
You come up off the ground as you narrowly roll out of the way of its great talons from snatching you up.
And I'll start barking orders as I say, Warren, get the hell out of that circle! And I'll say, hang on, Elisa, we've got you. And then I say to Harper, good eye, mate, as I try to...
Inspiring words.
Yeah.
What's your current damage condition track?
My current damage condition track is lightly wounded.
Nice. It's going to be routine.
Routine leadership test will be 58. As a 33 will be a critical success.
Nice! The creatures seem to recant back, screaming something guttural back at you as everyone adds +1 to their damage and peril condition tracks as they're so inspired. Tara, that's all your action points. Warren, it's your turn. What are you going to do?
I'm still in the engagement, correct?
You are not. Oh, wait. You are, yeah.
Okay.
Because one is engaged with you.
That's right. Is that the one that you were closing in on?
I went to.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
He's still in the circle.
Okay.
The key kind of falls outside the circle. Clink, clink.
I will arm my bullwhip and attack.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a hold on it.
All right. Make an attack. It is simple melee, and it's going to be challenging. Or sorry, standard. My apologies.
Okay. 58% chance to succeed, and I roll a success.
Okay. Snap! Snap! Well, crack! All right. I'll attempt to. What do you want? Chokehold or takedown?
Let's do chokehold.
Okay. The leather wraps around this thing's throat. Almost human-like throat. And that is, I'm sorry, you have to resist with an athletics. I should have called that out. It is a 60% chance. I rolled a 51. You were not successful.
Okay.
It kind of wraps around these oily black feathers and along the bristles along its body, but you cannot seem to grab a hold of it.
Okay. I guess I'll disengage then.
You will remain in the circle, or disengage out of the circle.
Disengage out of this room.
Okay. All right. Warren quickly begins to duck back, leaving the circle. And there's this kind of joint crying sound coming from the darkness. As he steps out of the circle, these shapes of darkness from elsewhere disappear in smoke and soot. All of you must immediately succeed a challenging resolve test, lest you suffer from terror.
Challenging.
36.
94.
39.
36 as well.
Success.
2 will do it.
Good job.
Who failed?
I'm going to use a fortune point on this.
Terror sucks, but
Terror
yeah.
does suck.
My chances aren't great.
Okay, 46. And 21 will succeed.
Okay. There's this sound as you leave the circle, and you can see that Warren stumbles out. Who failed?
I did.
Okay. 13.
I take all. That's what I take.
19 mental peril and 9 corruption.
Oh.
Harper is struck with sheer terror.
I go down to ignore 3 skill ranks.
You stumble out of the circle. You gather your wits for a moment, trying to understand what's happened.
Yeah.
You're not really sure what to make of it.
Harper looks at Warren and is like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you just walk into the middle of the circle like that? You gotta be more careful. Shit, what I don't even know what the hell that was.
I didn't know that was
Grab
going to
a
happen.
cane.
I walk over to Lisa. You all right? That thing had you dead to rights.
I'm not entirely sure what. I thought so too. I don't know what happened. What was that?
Taryn will put his hand on your shoulder and he'll look you in the eyes. He's like, whatever it is, we're gonna make it out here tonight. We're all going to.
Sure as hell are. We should get the hell out of here now. We can't do anything against those things.
Listen, one, this will be the one and only time I tell you this. When I ask you what you think, it means I want to know what you're thinking. I don't want you to do nothing.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Do we guess we're true?
Do we have an understanding?
I understand.
When I ask you what you're thinking, I want you to use your mouth, not your feet.
I don't like your tone, but okay.
Well, listen, we should get out of here. This obviously ain't anything we can handle. I mean,
Everything's gone.
Don't mean they ain't coming back. That's probably what got these fellers right here.
You can see that the blue
You caught
cloaks
fire
have
and they caught fire.
The blue cloaks have been blown this way and that. The white powder and soot that was on the walls has been marred in places. In fact, it looks like it was marred in places before, too. Your poor notebook has been torn to pieces.
And there's nothing left for me to try to scavenge.
Fortunately not.
Well, this was fruitless.
So we know that
Walk back over and pick up the lamp.
we know what we saw, right?
I'm sorry, you succeeded your test, right?
Yeah.
So your lantern did not, fortunately, not blow.
Right, yeah, that's why I'm really happy I succeeded.
You see that most of your kind of personal belongings in your pockets you're picking up off the ground now at this point.
Pick up the cloak pin too again.
Yeah.
I walk over towards the key and push it with my foot.
It's still a little hot.
Throw on my gloves and limp over and grab it. I don't know
So
if this is
you will
full.
treat your movement as 1.
Right.
Even with the aid of a cane, she is ambling about.
I know what you need.
What?
He gets in his package and says, "It's my last one, but you need it more than me." As he gives you a tincture.
It is no injury.
I don't know that.
No, I'm telling you, you would
okay.
know that.
Oh.
This will not treat this. She will
Oh,
she
okay.
will need a lot of rest, and she'll need proper medical care.
Okay, well, my bad.
I don't think your oil will fix broken. Well, I'm gonna be a bit slow getting out of here. And we only have the hour before he runs.
That's it. We're getting out of here. Now.
Right.
I'm gonna smell. Do I still notice the odor and the reek? Do I look up? Do I see the
It's
yellow?
faint, but
Okay.
yes.
Alright.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if we did anything, but at least we know where it's coming from. Sure.
Right.
Is there any other?
Yeah.
I will take a quick look around the room. Is there like any doors or anything that this key would go to?
You look around and search in earnest, but there's no such doors to be found here.
So we're just at the bottom of a pit.
That's right. Even as you part the roots and stuff. However, the thing you do notice is that the key is actually marked with a similar symbol as the cloak pin, symbol of the water mechanical wheel.
I want to look at the walls. Do I see any like water lines? Like, are we in the well? Like, kind of deal?
You appear to be in a well, but it's completely dry. Strangely so. There's no water in here at all. It's just a incredibly broad stone well that makes no sense. Like this whole structure itself defies any reason that you could possibly apply to this place.
Well, I got nothing. I don't know.
How do you fare? I know you can't hardly walk.
No.
But he looks over what is proper to see if she's bleeding.
No, she's not bleeding.
And so you're not bleeding out. That's
Scratches and cuts.
That's
but
all I know.
her
Quite
ankle's
beat.
twisted.
But no, not bleeding.
So
We should go.
we should go. How you fare?
I'm fine.
You perfectly fine.
Right. I mean, besides, well, being freaked the hell out about this place. I never seen nothing like that in my life. I don't necessarily want to see it again.
Right. Well, let's go. We will be back, but we need to leave now.
Yes.
Right.
Before we lose our way back. Slowly.
Are you up?
All right.
And as we're walking up the steps, unless something else happens, on the way back, right after we get out of the steps, Terran's gonna look down and exhale as he starts to help Elisa. As Harper starts to help Elisa, he'll look back up at Warren and be like, "I forget. We ain't no military. I've got a temperament. Choleric disposition runs in my family. You didn't deserve that." And he'll put his arm kind of around your shoulder as we're walking, and he'll say, "You're important to me. You know that?
Thank you for saying that.
It's my way of showing it."
I did, what I did was probably stupid, but it needed to be done, you know?
I don't know.
It wasn't any way we were going to figure out what that was. Were we just going to leave that key in there and just walk away?
I thought someone took it.
That's what I'm saying. Someone had to go in the circle to get it done. That was me.
Well,
I did, like I said, didn't know it was going to happen, but, hey, if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. I don't know whether they would have been able to survive it.
what do you mean? What happened?
Well, you saw me, burnt up and walling around on the ground.
I didn't really. There's so much happening.
I got struck by the hellfire of the gods, or who knows what. It was something big. It hurt. Look at me, as he holds out his arm, and there's singe marks on his forearms and such. So I'm soot stained.
Blue bloody blazes. You are. Just like that prophet.
All the hair is burned off of his eyebrows and his head, most of his head, his arms. He smells of burnt hair.
Ever since Penumbra, something's been bothering me. My head's not screwed on right or something. I thought, maybe stupidly, there may have been some answers in there, but no.
We need to get you some rest. That's all we need to do.
Rest, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm concerned. If there's any way I can help, you let me know, but I don't know of these things, and I only know what I've been told. But I know that, well, we'll talk more once we're off this island. Let's get out of here.
Alright.
You gather yourselves, limping back across the island, leaving the pit, leaving the well behind you. Crossing through the temple grounds, it gives you no respite whatsoever. This is a place of abject evil. You stumble your way back to the ship, and you can see that Jonas Sparrow is waiting there with wide eyes. I almost didn't see you there coming out of the darkness. What in the... What blazes? He says as he's kind of looking toward the lot of you.
Let's get out of here now.
There ain't anything right about this island.
Get on the boat. Let's get out of here.
This place needs to be cleansed. We need some priests. That's what we need. Some good, honest priests to come and sanctify this area.
You step on the boat, and you leave the lonely island behind you. The memory is still burnt in your mind, still fresh. Silence amid all of you as you return upon the skiff, back to Durendal, back to Lovelock Bridge. A pair of crows roost near a dead husk of a tree as the boat butts up against the wooden jetty. And you're back in Durendal. Somewhere within the city you can hear dun 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 dun, the sound of the bells. It's the witching hour. They peal across the city. Jonah helps you off the boat.
Thank you.
You know where to find me, he says.
Right.
He says nothing else.
Before we leave, I look him in the eye. All I have to say is look out for birds.
He's not wrong about that one.
Might I ask why this needed to be done at night?
Harper throws up his hands. He doesn't even know.
There's a patrol. It's going up and down the river during the day.
That place back there is forbidden. And for damn good reason now, we know.
Yep.
Maybe it might be smartest to camp there during the day and not traverse to that particular area of that island until morning.
I don't think we should go back without a priest. Or 10.
Listen, I don't think that we should be discussing this until we've had some proper rest. Get our bearings about us.
I can think fine, just not walk. But if the rest of you need time to process, then take it.
So we need to just focus on getting back.
Get back, get a hot meal in our belly, get down to bed.
Where are you going to go back to?
Wherever I can prepare a meal.
To where?
Wherever I can prepare a meal.
Your meals have already been prepared.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
All right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did roll that last week.
All right. Well,
You are near Basaya Square. You could potentially go to the cloakroom.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to go.
I would say that's where Elisa will.
That's where Matthew's at. That's where I stabled him.
Yeah, we can go there.
Take a bath, try to scrub off all the dirt and grime and smell as much as possible.
so I serve everyone a meal, and I use my feast or famine trait. So everyone goes up one step up the damage condition track.
It's cool. Elisa, from a game mechanics perspective, you'll be able to walk once again once you are unharmed.
Okay. It's at one level.
Also, when we rest, we will recover down hindered.
Nice.
I remember we split up how many meals we were carrying.
Actually,
I was carrying 3 on myself.
I was
can
carrying
I
3.
see a book?
Yeah.
What you need?
Let's give her the
Laudanum.
big book behind you.
Oh, laudanum's like a gold.
One step up the damage condition track. And one corruption.
Who's that?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take laudanum.
Okay. You down a
Pulls
dose.
her. I was gonna say she pulls her. When nobody's paying attention, she pulls
Yeah.
out her golden spoon.
That's right. You will prepare your laudanum in a way that is most appropriate.
Erasing one.
Your eyes will dilate, the room will narrow.
Erase the other 2 from yours.
You could feel
Erase
euphoric.
the other.
For
However
note, for
much.
those that don't know, I
Throughout
have
the meals?
persecution complex, which means I could not go up peril threshold without it. So
How much were you
that's the other
carrying?
reason I'm taking.
Okay, erase the rest from yours.
Okay.
initiative goes up because no longer carrying too much weight.
You rest for that evening, and the next day comes. Obviously, you have recovered as you needed to do so. To unhindered on your peril condition tracks from rest.
And unharmed at this point for me.
That means you can walk too.
Yeah.
You managed to at least get your ankle bandaged up as well as you possibly can to keep it straight. It'll take a few weeks to heal, but at least you can walk on it now, so you can restore your movement back to where it was. It is now the next day. A good night's rest certainly helped most of you. The meal was hearty and fulfilling. Almost helped you kind of forget what happened the night before, but as you awaken, that kind of sense of dread returns. The cloakroom was quiet this morning.
I forgot to write it down. When you suffer stress, you suffer 3 corruption, right?
That's right.
Correct. Terror is 9.
Terror is 9. Yep. Alright,
And only 1 for taking drugs.
Yeah. Yay, drugs.
well, it depends on the type.
And how many you take?
Yeah. Alright, so morning time. So we wake up in our private room. Alright, I suggest we stay in here for a little bit. And I appreciate you all not talking about this until we've been able to rest, but it does need to be talked about.
Good, it'll give me some time to treat your wounds if you got any, and see to your eye condition.
Right. The drops.
Surprisingly,
Clearing up, but it's still there.
Surprisingly, I fared pretty well.
I'm quite well.
Good.
The reek's still present, I'm assuming?
The smell still lingers.
Alright.
It is not strong, though. Not like it was the day before.
How much is a bath?
Listen.
2 pennies.
Yeah. And
Shave
then
a
how much is the
haircut and a
stable?
bath. 2 bits.
How much is the stable of the horse again?
You will need to look in the book yourself.
Okay, I'll look it up in the book.
Yeah, that'd probably be helpful.
We
if you track
talked
on your
about it,
own.
I just forgot about it.
Yeah, no
So
worries.
she's
It's under trappings, under
Yep.
services, I believe.
taking a bath, up with the swelling on her ankle.
Yeah, certainly. Get some nice bath salts going, the foaminess.
Mm-hmm.
It's rather soothing. You can get the smell, the reek out of your hair, out of your clothes.
She's gonna also have her clothes laundered.
It would be along with that.
Oh.
Just 2 brass pennies. You'd have to launder your clothes and have a bath and.
And
So
then
few
she'll switch
people-
to her other set of clothes.
There's a few people here and there.
Also, at some point I'm going to slip out and go buy another writing kit, since my journal has been destroyed.
Yeah, actually. So you can do that.
Rankings are expensive too.
Messiah Square is obviously a place where it's a pretty high traffic, so
Well, I don't need a full writing kit, right? I would just need... Because a writing kit
you essentially need
consists of
need a book.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's much more manageable.
I was like, because I don't need, like, the quill or anything like that.
That's right.
So,
Right. I'm just trying
You
to...
just need the book. The book.
Is that your
So you're at
It is, yeah. Writing kit's normally 3 gold, but the
No,
book...
I'm in peril. Because when we rest with the reek, don't we just only...
No, it's regardless.
That's right.
An academic book is 1
Oh,
gold
so I get to
coin.
go up to 10?
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
you go up to
academic book or
100.
it'd be a crown.
Yep.
She'd have to do it.
There are certainly bookbinders throughout the city who will sell such tomes. In fact, these same bookbinders also sell paintings and things like that, as it is considered a furnishment and not so much a collectible thing as we would
Right.
see it today.
Yeah, because paper by the
could I-
sheet is 2 brass pennies.
Could I attempt in, getting my new journal to possibly talk them down?
Sure. Roll a bargain test. What's your social class?
Burger.
Okay, equal. So it's going to be a routine test.
Okay, so that hits me at 52. A 12 will do it.
Okay. Go ahead and reduce it. We'll reduce it down to how many shilling in a crown?
20?
20.
20.
20.
Reduce it to 18 shilling. Or sorry, I'm sorry, my apologies. What's your fellowship bonus?
Fellowship 5.
Okay, so it's 15.
15?
Yeah.
We don't bargain much. But yeah. Yeah.
But when we do, we get a good price.
Right.
A bookbinder will certainly not throw his hands in the air at such a deal. He will-
Especially not for a Marius. Throw that around.
Yes. You would be doing me a great favor. Let me tell my father.
I will treat my burns from the night before. I'm lightly wounded.
Okay. Your test will be standard.
I thought lightly wounded was
Attempting to treat yourself.
Oh, treat yourself. That's
Uh-huh.
right. You got me.
And it's not the cleanliness of conditions.
Yeah, it's true,
so
too.
That's a 54% chance to succeed. And I rolled a 19, so that is a success.
Spin the brass penny. You will repair the burns with honeyed bandages, a bit of soothing aloe you perhaps had reaped from a nearby some nearby garden. Cool water.
And then after that, I will administer the dwale to Harper.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll a heal test. This test is routine.
64% chance to succeed, and I did not succeed this time.
Unfortunately, you will suffer from the reek stink today. We will take a quick pause, and then we will continue with episode 18 of Queen of Embers in just a few moments.